Guys, today we're going to talk about integrating evidence into your writing. Okay, so you have picked your evidence, but let's see what we can do with it now. We're going to start with talking about the two different options you have for taking that evidence and putting it into your writing. The first is a direct quote. This is when you're going to take a word from word piece from the article that you read and insert it into your writing. This means you've got to use quotation marks since you're taking it directly from it. If you don't use the quotation marks, it is considered plagiarism. When you pull a passage to use as evidence in your paper, it should be a small passage, really no more than 2 to 3 sentences long, okay? So let's use for this example, let's use this. I'm writing to convince parents to cut down on the snacks they give their kids, okay? And I found this blog post, 5 common feeding mistakes that parents make, that I'm gonna use as my evidence for writing this particular essay and defending that claim that parents give kids too many snacks. So we're going to scroll down to mistake number 3 is where I found the evidence that I want to use about offering too many snacks. And I like this whole piece here where she talks about why parents might offer snacks. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here to my example to show you guys, and we're going to take a look at now what I've done with that direct quote. So I created my claim that is I've built up from what I had put on my point 1 on my essay planner, and that is another reason snacks should be limited for kids is because it makes their overall daily intake less nutritious. Snacks fill them up so they don't eat as much of their healthy meals. That's all me, that's what I'm arguing, okay? Now I'm gonna introduce my direct quote that I'm lifting from the article. So registered dietitian Sarah Renner explains it this way, and this is the author of that blog post. Open quotation marks. When snacks are available all of the time, kids don't have the chance to work up an appetite for meals, which tend to be more nutritionally balanced. And then I'm going to close my quote as well as end my sentence. Okay. Then we're going to add some reasoning. So how does the quote that I pulled support the claim that I've made? And you'll see this down here at the bottom in blue. So it stands to reason that cutting back on snacks will make it more likely that kids will eat more at regular meal times, and this will improve their overall nutrition. Okay, so I have now made my claim. I've given evidence from someone other than myself who thinks the same way, and I've supported these two things by explaining how they work together. Okay. Another option, rather than a direct quote, is to paraphrase. Paraphrase is similar to using that direct quote, but you're actually rewording it. You're putting it into your own words, you're summarizing what was said. So same example, same blog post, here's what that looks like. My claim is the same from the direct quote example. My reasoning is the same. This time I've taken the direct quote and made it a paraphrase. So registered dietitian Sarah Renner points out that snacks are often less healthy and balanced than regular meals. And if kids constantly snack, they never really get hungry for the meals. So you can see how that's very similar to what the direct quote says, but I've put it into my own words. Either option, paraphrasing or direct quoting, is acceptable. I would use a combination of both in writing my paper. Now, how do I introduce that evidence? How do I move from my claim to the evidence? And there are a couple of different ways. I'm going to go over them here with you. If you want to see a printed copy of this, there's a PDF in Schoology above this video that will give you a printed copy of all these different ways to style it, okay? So according to, and then the person's job title and name. This is the one I used in my 2 examples. So according to registered dietitian Renner. Then there is according to, and if you're stating a research study, so according to a 2011 study by Duke University, okay, just changes the person to a full study. Then you might do the person's job title and name, and then choose a verb. Did they say it, believe it, did they point out, did they argue? You choose the verb. So registered dietitian Sarah Renner points out that, and then I would talk about the snacks. This one is a mouthful, so it's probably better for me to show you the example. But in a 2013 blog post, and then the title, 5 common feeding mistakes that parents make, and then the author, registered dietitian Sarah Renner, explains. Okay, so they're giving a lot of information up front about who said it and why it's a credible source. Then the last one you could use is in a blank study, so-and-so researchers found. Okay, so in a 2011 study, Duke researchers found, and then you could continue. All right, so pick one of those ways to introduce that evidence. Once you introduce the evidence, though, then you need to move into the reasoning, and you need to introduce that reasoning. So here are some ways to do that. They're all very similar. You choose what you like best. So, okay, so cutting back on snacks will. Therefore, cutting back on snacks will. Please note there's a comma if you use the therefore. This means that cutting back on snacks will. It stands to reason that. Stands to reason that cutting back on snacks will. This suggests that. This suggests that cutting back on snacks will. Again, I would use a variety of these. I wouldn't pick the same one for every paragraph that I'm writing. I would add some variety to my writing. Okay? All right, so what do I need to do next, Ms. Drake? So by the end of the block on Friday, I need you to get your essay planner back, and I need you to fill out the bottom 3 boxes. These are the reasoning boxes. And so I want you to explain how the evidence you have chosen in that middle box supports each of the 3 points that you made, okay? So that is due by the end of the block Friday. Next step, and this one is due by the end of the block on Tuesday. I want you to take that essay planner in each of the 3 blocks in each column, and I want you to start drafting paragraphs, okay? So you are going to be drafting essentially the body of your paper, okay? Follow that planner, use that structure, claim, evidence, and then your reason, okay? You should have, by the end of the block on Tuesday, the entire body of your paper drafted, okay? Go ahead and open a Google Doc for this and make it on your own Google Doc. Go ahead and title it whatever your topic of your paper is for now. We're going to change that. Don't worry about the introduction. Do not worry about a conclusion. We're going to work on those later. But by the end of the block on Tuesday, 3 body paragraphs drafted. Let me know if you have questions, and I will be happy to help you.